So the MCU is in an interesting spot right now. They Disney just bought Fox, and they now have X-Men and Fantastic Four in their library, and you have to assume that at some point they're gonna they're gonna do something with them. Or well, actually, Kevin Feige confirmed that at Comic Con, but they're gonna do something with them at some point. And one of the more interesting things about incorporating the X Men into the MCU, and this is probably a video that I'm gonna make just a separate video, just talking about the X Men in general, but in specific, Magneto, because how do you even do that in 2019? And of course, I'm talking about the fact that Magneto traditionally is a Holocaust survivor. So, bringing in a Magneto into the MCU by the time they get around to X-Men, it's going to be like 2023, 2024 at the very least, right? Or probably 2025, 2026 when they actually get around to bringing the X-Men into the MCU. What do you do about a Magneto being a Holocaust survivor? Because at that point, he's gonna be like in his late 90s. He's gonna get to the 100 age. He's gonna get to the hundreds. It's that's the thing. If you're gonna make Magneto a Holocaust survivor, he's gonna be really, really old, and it's one of those things that you kind of have to ask yourself, like, just because that is such a powerful backstory, do you stick with that? Do you just have a really old Magneto, or do you maybe, try and retcon it and make mutants age slowly, or just have that be one of Magneto's powers? Do you make him just age slowly and just bring in a younger Magneto? I don't know. I don't know. So, all that being said, there is another option. You could change the backstory, and X-Men First Class writer, forgot his name, but he he brought up another option. Cast Giancarlo Esposito, Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, and maybe have the story be around the Rwandan genocide. I don't know, maybe. And now look, here's the thing. I think that this is something that they should do. Now, again, this is not to make light of, Magneto's backstories in the past of him being a Holocaust survivor. That is such an incredibly powerful story, and one that is not going to be forgotten. It's going to go down in history as one of the great backstories. Obviously, because the Holocaust is just one of, if not the, most horrible human rights abuses in just history. It's just horrifying, obviously, horrifying. But just from a story perspective, and just, like, you kind of just can't do it forever, because the Holocaust is, it was a point in history, and time moves forward. So, just obviously all this being said, I think it's pretty smart to try and move to a different backstory, tell a different story with Magneto, because I think that the key thing with Magneto isn't necessarily that he is a Holocaust survivor. I think the key with Magneto is making sure that he has run and he's had an experience with the worst of humanity, and that just fueling his hatred for humans, and that fueling his commitment to feeling that what he's doing is right. Because that's one of the things that makes Magneto such a great character, is that, or such a great villain, is that he truly believes that what he is doing is right. He believes what he is doing is just. And I think that is the key the key thing about Magneto that makes him great. It's not necessarily that he is a Holocaust survivor. It's that he has experienced the worst that humanity has to offer, and because of that, that drives him to to do what he believes is right. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, before seeing this news, I honestly didn't really know much about the Rwandan genocide. And I mean, honestly, full disclosure, I just read the Wikipedia page just now, and I mean, look, it sounds horrible. Basically, it was a genocide committed against the Tutsi and moderate Hutus, by the Hutu elites, basically, and yeah, there was a civil war, and the leader of Rwanda was assassinated. And literally, it said in the Wikipedia article, the next day this genocide started. And I mean, yeah, like I think that is that would be a fantastic way to do Magneto in the modern day. Have him, have suffered from just a horrible tragedy, and that just fueling his hatred for humanity. And I mean, even then bringing him into the United States, as I assume they will, part of that hatred could be from the fact that the United States and a lot of Western countries didn't really do much to help in that instance. At least, again, I read this from a Wikipedia article, and this is just off the top of my head. But I mean, that part of his hatred could be from the fact that, a lot of Western countries didn't really do anything to help. So, yeah, I mean, look, you could, like I said before in the beginning of this video, you could do some weird thing where maybe Magneto just isn't aged, so you can still have him be a Holocaust survivor and still be relatively young. And by young, I mean like in his 50s or 60s, because if you had to be accurate at the time, he would be like in his 90s, reaching hundreds by the time this movie comes out. So yeah, I don't know. I personally, I think that it's time, and I think it's okay to have a new origin, change the story a bit, and I personally think that's fine. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be the Rwandan genocide. You could have maybe he was born in North Korea, Magneto, and he's suffering from all the stuff that's happening over there. He could have been born in the civil rights era, civil rights movement. Suffering. He could have been from there. There are many possibilities here. Unfortunately, humans are pretty shitty, and there is a lot to go around for what a possibility for a Magneto backstory can be. Unfortunately, but yeah. What do you guys think? Do you want Magneto to just do you want that backstory to just stay the same, and you don't want it to change? You're okay with them doing whatever story thing they can be, whether it be, making Magneto younger, or like having that be part of his abilities, that he stays younger, kind of like Wolverine. Are you open to new a new backstory? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and yeah, bye.